Turn down the lights, grab the black lipstick, and whatever you do, don't go into the basement. Because tonight, the Underground Nation podcast is getting a little darker, a little stranger, and maybe just a little dangerous. Straight out of North Carolina comes Mostly Mesh, bringing bass-heavy post-punk and darkwave drenched in 80s horror, macabre romance, lust, sarcasm, trauma, and enough corn syrup blood to make a slasher movie jealous. Fresh off the release of a haunting new take on Tainted Love, complete with its own music video, Mostly Mesh is already preparing the next chapter with a second album in the works and new original music creeping closer from the shadows. But tonight, we're going beyond the music. We're talking about the stories behind the darkness, turning trauma into creativity, surviving as an independent artist, building something from nothing, and finding out exactly what makes Mostly Mesh tick. So lock the doors, check behind the shower curtain, and prepare yourself, because Mostly Mesh is stepping into the hot seat here on the Underground Nation podcast. With your host with the ghost, Bounce Ball Boogie. Welcome to the Underground, where we discover what's making noise underneath the surface.
Yo, 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 yo! Welcome back, my creatures of the underground. You turned into another haunting episode of the Underground Nation podcast. I'm your host with the ghost of Bounce Ball Boogie. Today, we're diving headfirst into the dark corners of North Carolina's alternative scene, where post-punk bass lines throb like heartbeats in the fog, and love songs bleed in black and red. Joining us tonight is an artist who's redefining modern darkwave through cinematic horror and emotional truth. Their music drips with lust, sarcasm, trauma, and just a splash of corn syrup blood. They tell us don your black lipstick and make out while a slasher plays in the background. Ladies and ghouls, please welcome Xena of Mostly Mesh.
Hello, thank you for having me. What a fucking intro. Oh my god.
Well, you guys are making a lot of fucking noise and you deserve that intro. You kidding me?
Thank you.
Heck
I
yeah,
really appreciate
thank you.
that.
And we appreciate you taking time from your busy schedule to even speak with us. Shit, are you kidding me?
Hell yeah. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, Xena, let's start from the beginning. Who was Mostly Mesh and how did this dark, seductive sound come to life?
Yeah, Mostly Mesh has become a little bit of my alter ego, I guess. It's become a thing that takes on. I keep having people coming up after shows and telling me that I was just possessed on stage. And I think more and more it's feeling a little bit like a possession. Yeah, I don't know. It's a place where I get to kind of throw a lot of different facets of myself into one amalgamation of gothic, monstrous mess.
Yeah. Well, I've been enjoying the monstrous mess that I've been watching anyway.
Thank you.
I'm like, wait a minute, is there more? There's probably more.
There's more.
When people listen to your music, they describe it as cinematic, like scenes from an 80s slashers flick. Were horror movies a creative influence for you growing up?
Yeah, definitely. Horror movies have always been a mainstay throughout my whole life. I was the kid that was showing the other kids in the neighborhood scary movies. And they're like, oh my God, what is this? Why are you doing this? They're like, this is so sick. You got to come.
Xena, I told you, don't bring that over here.
And I'm like, I'm so sorry, other seven. You have to watch Nightmare on Elm Street. And we have to sit down and watch all of them. So yeah, horror movies have always been a really big influence for me. And especially when it comes to visuals, that's something I always kind of pull back to. But I describe myself as being somebody who's always had just a deep interest in the macabre. It's kind of my happy place.
Yeah, well, me too. I have a pretty deep interest. That's kind of how I got this job.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, definitely. Sick. You mentioned processing trauma through art. What role has that played in shaping your lyrics and sound?
Yeah, I'm somebody who always kind of processes big emotions and feelings through art of various forms. So I kind of dabble in all sorts of mediums, but from paintings and mixed media collage to poetry and music, it's a place where I put things in how I work out what I'm feeling. So it's a lot of time a big part of my processing.
Yeah, very cool. Does it start with the instrumental and riffs first, or does it come from lyrics first?
With music, it kind of comes together on its own. Like I kind of just let it lead me most of the time. So when I make music, it's usually starting on playing around with some synths and like a drum machine. And then bass comes into it. And then the lyrics tend to be more of a free writing process of just hitting a microphone, queuing it up, and literally just recording what comes to mind.
Right.
And then I write it down afterwards, and then I like tweak a few things. But most of my music is written in a very free form way with like pretty little lyrical editing. And it kind of reveals to me later usually what the fuck I'm processing. I'm like, oh, she was going through it last month. Okay, cool.
All right. Well, better out than in, we always say.
Exactly.
Your work blurs the line between sensuality and fear. Do you feel that darkness and desire come from the same emotional place?
I feel like for me, they're very intertwined for sure. Being a like alternative weirdo freak person who I feel like it's very obvious and visible to other people that I'm like a weird freak, and it's kind of always been that way. So I think that sensuality and like darkness and desire are definitely tied up, and there's a lot of overlap between like darkness and the things that scare us, and then desire and eroticism. And then especially when you're like involved in like kink realms and stuff like that, there's so much overlap that they're so fused together to me a lot of the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're an artist or in a band that could use some extra exposure, look no further than Underground Nation magazine. They have everything you need to get some extra eyes on your project. Get started on your custom marketing campaign, spanning web, social, and print today. Visit underground-nation.com. That's underground-nation.com for more info. Underground Nation, the #1 trusted source for underground music news.
With that fusion, do you write, record, and produce everything yourself?
I do, yeah. Mostly Mesh is a completely solo project, at least thus far. I like the idea of playing around and like putting together a band to do some shows, but it's all just me. The first album, You Can Touch Me If It Pleases You, I recorded at my desk on the clock for my work from home insurance job that I was at before. So it's just fully like a self process.
Yeah, absolutely. What are the biggest challenges and freedoms of doing it all?
I would say the biggest freedoms is there's a lot less kind of arguing about different ideas. There's no headbutting. The headbutting is between me and myself. So I can sit myself down and be like,
well, I hope you win.
Yeah. Me or me is going to win in those arguments. So there's no like battle for like, no, I think this idea is better. I get to let it kind of naturally evolve with what directions I'm thinking things should go. But sometimes the issue with that is feeling like I don't always have the input. So I'll like pull my partner over and be like, can you listen to this and tell me if it's super cheesy in a bad way, or if they're like cheesy in a good way, or if you're not reading cheesy at all and I'm just being like my own worst enemy. So sometimes it can get really insular in the way that it comes, and it's then hard to actually get a final product. I think that's been like the biggest hurdle, especially with the second album that I've been working on, is because it is just me and there's no like real times table it has to be on. It means that I can just mix forever and I can tweak it forever, and I can also procrastinate. Oh, no. So it's like I don't have anybody but me to hold me accountable to it. So that's sometimes where like you're your own worst enemy.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotta stick to that schedule.
I'm trying to like set a schedule for myself. Like, now the album's gonna be out at this time. You need to get it together.
Set those deadlines.
Exactly.
Make it mesh.
Exactly. Mostly finished.
The album, You Can Touch Me If It Pleases You, feels like a film soundtrack for Rebirth. Was that intentional?
No, I wouldn't say it is really, or was for that project, but I really like to hear that that's kind of how it's reading. That's super cool. That was something that's been more of an idea since that album came out, is doing a future project where I have like some ideas for like a little like screenplay that I've like written the general gist of down, and like the idea of kind of scoring it too. So creating music with more of a specific mood as if it's playing out as a horror movie. But I've definitely heard that I have a kind of cinematic fantasy leaning vibe.
Yeah, I agree with that. I say that because you recently dropped a cover of Tainted Love. Mm-hmm. What drew you to that track?
That's one of my favorite songs of all time. It's been one of my favorite songs since I was like a little kid, and I had it on one of my mixtape cassettes. It's in my Walkman all the time. That song, the soft cell version, has just been like pivotal and completely embedded in the folds of my brain for as long as I can remember. And it's one that I sing to myself just like doing the dishes or around the house all the time. So it felt like a natural choice for a cover, and one that came together really quickly. So I moved from just like soft synths on like in a DAW to having an analog synth. So I got that earlier this year and I was playing with it. And then the Tainted Love cover kind of just came together on its own. And then like that week that I threw it together, I threw it in a show and then people liked it. So I've just kept adding it to the shows and to the point where I was like, well, I guess we'll release it.
Yeah, absolutely. The video is visually striking.
Thank you. It was fun. It's mostly me in my like kitchen with a curtain.
But I mean, where did you draw inspiration for your imagery and storytelling?
For imagery, it definitely comes from a wide spread of places, but a lot of it is going to be in like some classic horror movies. I feel like I'm always pulling from, with this, some of those visuals with like more playing with shadows. Definitely pulls from some like classic horror silent films. The 1922 Nosferatu, huge inspiration for me. Definitely like a big point of inspiration for an upcoming music video as well. That's like in the planning process.
Watch out now.
Yeah.
That's your cue to go like, follow us right now.
Yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned and also tell me to stay on top of my shit and get it done.
The fans will become your record label.
Yeah, it's fine. You know, when you're also your own label, it's like, it's difficult. The outside voices are just me. But the other music video and visuals that I did was pulling from like a lot of Evil Dead and like really classic, like schlocky 80s horror visuals. And those are always forever hugely inspirational to me. I love bright, ridiculous blood on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. The North Carolina DARKWAVE the scene seems to be growing pretty fast.
Yeah, the scene here is a lot hungrier for it than I expected, which has honestly really pushed me to like put stuff together even more. Mostly Mesh as an idea came together like not even a full 2 years ago. And the album came together I started it in April and the album came out in September. So like it came together super, super quickly.
Whoa.
And it coincided with me starting hosting goth nights here in Greensboro. And because the scene is so hungry for it and like ready and just like desperate for dark alt scene to have a space, it's been incredible. And there's a lot of really fantastic artists in the area that I now call friends.
Nice.
And inspire me constantly.
Well, very cool. Do you still host Goth Night?
I do, yeah. I have our next one is coming up on Halloween.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Does that mean you have an opportunity to constantly book yourself?
Yeah, I do.
That's pretty sweet, too.
I play most of them, and it's usually just like I'll like open off the night. So it's just a way to help kick it off. But then it also gives me my like home away from home stage where I get to test things out. And it's at a place that I'm also part of the art collective that runs it. So it's
oh my God, you got
home away from home
around you.
Multiple ways. Yeah, it's really cool. Once I tapped into our like cool weirdo freak DIY artsy scene here, it's been absolutely incredible.
You're becoming a local celebrity. Look at you.
Crazy.
The underground doesn't sleep, it evolves. Welcome to Underground Nation, the app where the culture lives. Discover underground artists you've never heard, but won't forget. Read every article, unlock every podcast episode, and step inside the real treasure. Every Underground Nation magazine issue, fully digital, inside the app. Visit undergroundnation.com. Download the app today. Underground Nation, your #1 source for everything underground.
Do you feel that post-punk and goth are making a real resurgence, or did they never die and they just evolved?
Yeah, I feel like it's probably a little bit of both. Goth music and the scene never died. It's always been present, and that's kind of the beauty of alternative subcultures is there's always the little pockets where it's like really present in, and otherwise you just kind of have it on the fringes and you find it where you find it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm definitely seeing a resurgence of interest through like the internet for sure lately. And then in spaces popping up more locally around North Carolina. And I'm watching goth nights pop up in like more and more cities around nearby. And it's really cool to see it spreading and there being so much interest. But I also feel like it coincides with, we often have these big booms when it gets really bleak globally, when our political landscape gets really bleak. Sometimes then you have to turn to the darkness to find the beauty and the joy where you can. And I think that's something that we're seeing a lot right now too.
Yeah, absolutely. For listeners that are going through their own pain or darkness, what do you hope they feel when they press play on your music?
Some of the like most beautiful things that I've heard is as like a fat queer trans person, hearing other people that are of similar intersections say that they feel like sexy and like beautiful while like listening to my music, and that like that feels like a place where they're feeling seen in a way that often we're not, has been really meaningful. And then I've also just heard people tell me really touching things about lyrics resonating with them. You just feel like less alone when you hear other people are going through similar stuff or have gone through similar things. And it's really cool, especially as an artist and like amongst a lot of artists, to see somebody of a similar life as you and life experiences as you doing a thing that maybe you've always wanted to do. Gives you that little push to try it. Cause I'm like, I'm just like a weird introvert loner. I'm just doing the thing because I wanted to do the thing. It's like, I'm also super shy, nervous, and awkward. If I can do it, you can probably do it too. It's cool.
Heck yeah. So then, being that this all just kind of came together in the last 2 years, have you found your purpose behind the mission?
That's a good question. I feel like that's something that will kind of forever be revealing itself. You have to allow evolution and change.
Oh.
I think that at the moment, the purpose is connecting over shared joy of darkness, finding beauty in the darkness, but then it's also being very vocal about where we are politically and kind of the things that do connect us and what we need to remember, especially as the weirdos and the freaks. So kind of pinpointing and making sure that we're really vocal about our morals there. I feel like that's been really important for me, is every time I have a stage, I make sure to shout out my little 5 Fs that I usually do, which is fuck ICE, fuck the cops, fuck all presidents, fuck transphobes, and free Palestine. And I feel
Free
important.
Palestine.
Yeah, every time you have a microphone or you have an opportunity where people see you, I think it's really important to bring your morals to the table.
I agree with that. You should make a t-shirt with that on it. That'd be pretty fucking dope. I'd rock that
All
shit.
I do is like make the idea.
I would totally rock that shit. The 5
Keep that in
Fs.
mind. Yeah.
5 Fs. Totally
But
should.
like a little mostly mesh cartoon. It's like mostly mesh reminds you of the 5 Fs.
Serious. Do you have merch out right now?
I do, yeah. Primarily, it's all super DIY that I do. So I've been really obsessed with block printing. So I carve some blocks and I do them on secondhand shirts. So each one's special and different and unique. And
You burn on the shirt?
It's actually a block. So it's a big linoleum block that I carved. And then you roll ink onto it and you have to like press it into it. But I'm about to get into screen printing too. So that'll make it a little simpler. But I like to do it all hands on, super DIY. That's just where it's at for me.
Cool.
And I do like a lot of punk patches. It's a big thing for me. I have a stack of patches in the corner just waiting to get stitched on everything.
Oh, is that a part of your merch, doing stitch work?
Yeah, I definitely have a few mostly mesh patches that are also block prints that I carve. I just did some that are like not quite mostly mesh merch, but I've been having the merch table because they're like goth general. I have one that's like a coffin that says death to fascism, and then a planchette that says don't talk to cops. And it's like, they're not specifically mostly mesh merch, but they're adjacent. So they're at the merch table with us.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Now that you kind of bring that up, you say you're going to do some upgrades and do some screen printing, possibly in-house. As an independent artist, you handle the creative side and now the business side. What's been the toughest financial lesson so far in managing your music career?
I mean, the biggest expense that I've done is I went and got super, super excited and did the dream thing of pressing my own record. So we pressed a vinyl for the first album, which was like a huge upfront expense. And then I'm really extra. So like I also had like zines printed for it that I like hand stuffed in each one and stickers. So I had to open up the shrink wrap and stuff them in. I hand stamped each inner sleeve so they're all numbered. But I wouldn't say that. So they were at 25, which is like kind of average vinyl, especially for indie artists. But we're all broke out here, so I lowered it to 20. I'd rather make like less dollars per record and like break even on them and get music in people's hands instead of just like sit on boxes of vinyl and be like, no, I want an extra $5. I'd rather just put it down, top out here for all of us. I'd rather make it more accessible. I feel like the real like financial hurdle thing is like trying to jump into getting more and more gear. It's easy to to fall down the hole of gear dreams and just constantly buying stuff. And I may have done that a few times and been like, yeah, we're going to upgrade the amp, and I'm going to add like a drum machine and this and that and this. And it gets really expensive. It adds up for sure. I wouldn't say I've been like really lucky in being able to consistently play shows and having a lot of like really fantastic support. So it hasn't been anything too crazy. I'm getting to put it all back into it. So it works out.
Heck yeah. had mentioned your second album is already in progress. Can you tease what kind of energy or story we can expect from this next chapter?
Yeah, the next one has a lot. So I did the thing, like the album came out, and within a month, I got really excited and super inspired by the release of that and playing more and more shows. Before this, I wasn't playing in front of people, period, anywhere. I was like deathly afraid to perform. So like just getting in front of people was so inspirational that I went and was just recording like a demo a day for like, I don't know, it was like a month and a half where it was just like a demo every single day. And it was getting like kind of crazy. But a lot of those started out of that, and it's grown into kind of introspection on grief, of personal loss, but also of kind of the great loss that we're having globally. So it's like also the grief of having to watch tragedies from afar. And that's playing a big role in a lot of the themes for this next album. It's definitely a little more dancey and a little more synth driven than the first record was. And it's been fun. I've been playing a lot of them. I feel like most of my sets this whole year have been like half new shit that's coming out soon.
Oh man, how fun.
It's super fun.
Where should we be liking, following, and subscribing to keep up with all this freshness?
Yeah. Instagram is my main place. I'm not super huge on socials. I don't.
Why?
It's just so draining to me. I'm like not good at it. I'm not good at like regularly posting and whatnot. But on Instagram, mostly _mesh is definitely where you're going to see upcoming shows, clips from shows I've played recently. I'm working on a whole bunch of stuff and trying to plan out this next album release. So I want to have multiple singles before we get to the album, and hopefully setting up a tour for next year. So yeah, Instagram is the place.
There you go. Head on over to Instagram, mostly _mesh.
That's me.
How does it feel to have fans relate so strongly to your work, knowing they find healing or empowerment through something born from your pain?
It's really touching. It's interesting because I've had similar responses to, I've also done like a lot of mixed media collage painting stuff. And in that, I had a couple years where I was regularly doing galleries and in shows there. So having to do like artist talks and people talking about how a piece resonates with them, especially as somebody who incorporates a lot of writing and words into visual art. It's an interesting vulnerability that I often forget, even though I'm reminded all the time that like there's somebody else on the other side of the art. So there's someone else taking it in and they're relating to something that then comes back around and you're like, oh, that's actually like, you're relating to this like weirdly very vulnerable inner part of myself. But it's really cool to let it take on a new life and kind of resonate in people once it's left me.
Absolutely. Can we learn if you could collaborate with any artist, past or present, who would it be and why?
Ooh, Jesus. What a question. I have so many inspirations and there's so many artists that mean so much to me. One that's like kind of outside of the genre space that I tend to work in, but is one of my all-time favorite artists that has inspired a lot for me lyrically and even sonically, even though it's probably not super evident to other people, would be Perfume Genius. They're one of my all-time favorites. And I think collaborating there would be otherworldly.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
I'd want to hear that.
I would too. I would cry the whole time, but I think that would make the track.
It's okay. We'll get through this one tear at a time.
It's cool. I think they'd appreciate it.
Absolutely will. Have you by chance done performing on live stream, on Instagram live stream or anywhere?
No, not specifically. I know that there's been like somewhere other people have like live streamed or whatever with their phone at a show, but I haven't done any specifically live streamed performances. That sounds interesting. It's something that like I think would make me feel weirdly more nervous than being in front of a crowd, because it's like, you know that there's a crowd there, but you can't really see them. But also maybe not. I don't know. That's something I should think about experimenting with.
You should.
Yeah.
And if you do, let me know.
I will do.
Front row. If one of our listeners is out there right now, maybe they're struggling, maybe they feel invisible, what words of advice would you offer them from your own journey?
Everybody's super individual, but I mean, I feel like for me, it's always about, I'm trying to find my words there. It's kind of like, you can survive it. It's like the cliche of, it's like, you've survived all the worst days you've ever had, which is such a cliche, but I really feel and I do resonate with. There's a lot of shit that when you look back on, you're like, whoa, how did I even get through that? But finding an outlet for it and finding community is really important. If you don't know where to find community, go out to some local shows, find the other weirdos, go up and say hi. I was such a loner, and like even till just a couple of years ago, like my friend group's super, super small. But until you get into like the weird artsy spaces and you find your people, it really makes a huge difference. And none of us can do it alone. So like community is at the utmost importance. And I think that's kind of how we make it through a lot of our struggles is we don't really do it alone.
That's right. Absolutely. If you're on, I know you're not on many social medias, but if you're on Facebook, we would love to invite you to our Underground Nation community.
Yeah, absolutely. I have been dabbling back in the world of it. I got on there mostly for like, oh, Facebook Marketplace. I'm trying to look for like candelabras and like, oh, there's an old church pew. Cool. Looking for coffins. And now
these are props.
People are, but I've been dabbling.
Very cool. Well, maybe I could get you to dabble your way into our...
Be convinced.
Very cool. Well, Xena, Mostly Mesh, any shout outs, thank yous, anything we forgot to promote, please take this time to shine.
Yeah, definitely hit up the Instagram. I've got some new stuff in the works. If you're interested, comment or send me a message that's like, work on your mixes, finish your tracks. Where's the next album? Force me from the outside. I think my like real shout out would be the local bats. The local scene has been such a great support and so sick. Been some kind of local adjacent bands that have been really, really supportive since I started and really mean a lot and inspire me and have become friends. So y'all should check out bands like Idle Talk, Brighter Than 1,000 Suns. My friends are in a Cramps cover band called The Gramps, and they're some of the best people ever. I'm absolutely obsessed with them. And yeah, I wouldn't have started performing or doing music more broadly without a local music scene legend, Maddie Sheets, who passed a little over a year ago, but really influential person who touched so many people in our really vibrant music and art scene here. And without him, I wouldn't have started performing, period.
Wow. That's incredible.
Thanks.
And my condolences as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, bless you, whoever that was in the back.
Yeah. My partner. Shout out.
Yeah, to them. That's what it's all about. Truth, art, and the courage to turn your darkness into something beautiful. A huge thank you to Mostly Mesh for stepping out of the shadows and sharing your story with us here on the Underground Nation podcast. Listeners, if you love what you heard, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to Mostly Mesh. Go to Instagram, mostly_mesh, and definitely check out the new single, Tainted Love, and the upcoming album. And don't forget to head your way to underground-nation.com to discover more incredible artists emerging from beneath the surface. Our new issue, Underground Nation magazine, and it's not too late to become a sponsor or feature your business within. Just reach out to us today at ugnpodcast@gmail.com for more information. Until next time, stay strange, stay inspired, and as always, keep your ears to the underground. Thank you, Mostly Mesh.
Thank you.
And just like that, the lights come back on, the blood washes off, and somehow we all survive the hot seat. Tonight, Mostly Mesh pulled us into a world of bass-heavy post-punk darkwave, horror, lust, sarcasm, trauma, and enough beautiful weirdness to remind us exactly why we searched the underground in the first place. But don't let the story end here. Like, follow and subscribe to Mostly Mesh across all social media and streaming platforms, and add Mostly Mesh to your playlist tonight, wherever you stream your music. Because underground artists don't become tomorrow's legends without people discovering them today. And if you're hungry for more music, stories, and artists making noise beneath the mainstream, visit underground-nation.com and keep digging. Are you an artist with a story that deserves to be heard? Then quit hiding in the shadows. Submit your information now for an opportunity to step into the Underground Nation hot seat and appear on the podcast. That's ugnpodcast@gmail.com. Tonight belonged to Mostly Mesh, but next time, it could be you. From the host with the ghost, Bounce Ball Boogie, and everybody here at Underground Nation, keep creating, keep making noise, and never be afraid to get a little weird. Because at Underground Nation, we don't follow the noise, we find it before the world does. This is Underground Nation podcast, where tomorrow's noise rises from underneath the surface.